Hey guys, we are in the Mayflower Marina in Plymouth, UK. After more than 6 months lockdown, I'm back at Lifgun and we make a short walk around. As you can see, whoa, here we have some scratches and bruises from the winter storms she was suffering. The mess in the aft lockers are still the same. The satellite terminal from AST, which provides me data when I'm at sea, is still here. My beloved hydro generator is also here. We'll see if it still works. The starboard nav wheel with the chart plotter switchboard, which has the most important functions on. A quick look downstairs, kitchen, saloon, the shower, toilet, then the nav station with the inner chart plotter, the radar target enhancer, then the front bunk where I sleep normally. Nice, no? The aft cabin, starboard, and port side. Port side is a mess. It's not like that anymore, believe me or not. I cleaned up and throw away a lot of things. During the lockdown, during the refit in Valencia, we invented this inner forestay, which now carries a heavy weather jib. It's awesome. That's one of the biggest changes we made on Lifgun, and it makes my single-handed sailing life much easier. Shane did a very nice job with very good and professional components and parts. We also exchanged all the lines with stuff from rigging project. I'm still totally excited about all that stuff we did down there. After one day of preparation and provisioning, we left Mayflower Marina on July 31st, 7 a.m. and headed out into the Plymouth Sound, which we had awesome conditions. I mean, that's the dream of a dream start of the trip. If you have like 2-3 ball-force of wind, and you can check out all the systems, and we were gently heading southwest towards the southern tip of England. During that time, I also figured out that there was some water floating around in the downstairs in the cabin. It turned out that this water wasn't salt water, so I decided to investigate the reason from where this water is a little bit later and use the time to test all the other stuff. Right now we are driving under autopilot. As you can see, it's the wind vane mode. The hydro generator was working and we're already producing some electricity. Also during hoisting the sails, I figured out that the wang, that thing wasn't working the right way. There is a gas spring built in and the gas spring was not working anymore. However, I was exchanging that a little bit later on, and the funny thing was that I had a spare. So, that's the cool thing. If something breaks and you have a spare, that means you know your body, you're resting very well. A couple of hours later, we were weather changed. Welcome to UK, and we were into heavy fog. We were sailing still southwest during the night, and were entering the Celtic Sea next day, which was a little bit rougher upwind sailing. We were pointing towards the Fastnet Rock, which was a waymark for me, an important one. Weather changed again, sunny, nice conditions. We were also encountering some fishing vessels quite close. but we had a nice chat with him.
Hey guys,
And
this is
then
the boss. This is day 3 of Lifgun. I'm totally excited. We just passed the Fosnet drop. You can see it behind me. It's so a good feeling to saw that once. Never expected to see it in my lifetime. So it's something crossed out of my bucket list.
after passing the Fastnet Rock, it was dinner time, some pasta with tuna tomato sauce. The wind died away, so we used the engine to produce a bit of water and refill the batteries and charging whatever I had to charge. Also at that time, Mayday call came through. Something happened at the coastline, nothing which we could help. So yeah, that happens from time to time. Then we turned slightly right, direction north, and we're riding for the next 2 days. We were riding out a low pressure system with winds up to, I don't know, 43 knots, like, I don't know, 8 to 9 ball force, which Lifgun is used to it, and me in the meantime as well. So we could handle that with the third reef and the heavy weather jib. It wasn't a big deal. Besides that, it was bumpy and cold. After that, the conditions eased, and we had a very nice up sailing north for the next days. We're passing alongside the west coast of England and Scotland, and finally arrived at the Outer Hebrides. After that, at the end of Scotland, we turned slightly right, and the plan was to squeeze in between Scotland and the Orkney Islands through and getting into the North Sea. This is kind of channel, and because the Atlantic and the North Sea meeting there, it's quite heavy current. As you can see on the right side, these waves are not from wind, it's from the current. It's like 5 to 7 knots of current, so that means in fact you drive maybe with 1 to 2 knots over ground, which is also slow. But we made it, and finally entered the North Sea. The North Sea, we were pointing at that time towards Stavanger, which is a Norwegian harbor, quite north, a little bit south of Bergen, and with winds from maybe 120 degrees, we were um, racing towards Norway. Um, yeah, I mean, as closer you get to the Norwegian coast, as more wind, I don't know, there is a cape called Lindenes, and I never have been there without heavy winds. And also these times we had a night which was totally bumpy again. That was the morning after the night, and winds up to 8 ball force. No clue from where and why, but it was like it was a fact. So yeah, that we were that was close to this Lindnes. Finally, we arrived at the Norwegian coast, and then we were pointing towards Skagen, which is the most northerly point of Denmark. That near the route again, which there the North Sea is meeting the Baltic Sea, and because of that, or whatever, out of whatever reason, we were sailing in a heavy fog, and that was before we arrived in Skagen. first time I was using the radar and really watched out for other boats because it's crowded there like hell. After passing Skagen, we entered the Kattegat. And the Kattegat, that's if you come from the North Atlantic, it's like getting back on a lake. It's light winds, no waves, totally relaxing. And that also gives us the opportunity to use the famous barbecue on the boat. It was modified in Namibia from a very, very smart mechanic, and since then he's working flawless. You see the meat is already on. It's like at home, just no grass, just water. We have a quick look downstairs what the side dish will be for today. There is some rice cooking. Wow, so that will be a nice cool dinner with awesome sunset view and a glass of red wine in calm seas. So we were sailing south in between Denmark and Læsø, pointing to the Bay of Aarhus. Here you can see the big island is Læsø there. With sometimes nice winds, sometimes it was almost zero wind, but that's how it is in the Baltic. I used because we were close to the coastline, so you had coverage for data, and so I was able to listen to radio, listen newspapers, download stuff. It was very, very cool, and enjoying the sun and the nice, calm, easy conditions. Day 11 we were almost in Middelfart. So at that time I was thinking that we will arrive in Kolding probably off in the night after day 11. Wasn't sure how the wind will develop, so therefore I didn't make any predictions about the estimate time of arrival, but it ended up that we were in Kolding at 12:30 in the night local time, and that was it. I mean, it was a very smooth and nice ride. We did in total, I think, 1,744 miles, which is a little bit less than 3,500 kilometers in 11 days and 14 hours, which is also cool. All that with the preparation time in Plymouth from a little bit more than 24 hours. Lifgun was handling that job without any problems. We didn't have any big damages. In fact, we don't have one damage. I cannot remember. And yeah, we were enjoying the last couple of hours leisure sailing towards the Middelfart Bridge to get into the Kolding Fjord during the following night. So that was an awesome trip, and it was maybe also something which helped me to forget the disappointment about the All-Star race.